everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
And I'm Chris Yee.
Today we're talking about a bit of a surprise of a game, and not the game itself necessarily. Tower Up is what we're talking about here, but the company that made Tower Up is Monolith.
Yep. When you asked me, name any company that you think did this one, I'm like, okay, well, it's got to be a surprise one. I still wouldn't have reached that low. Not low, but just different, I guess.
Monolith is known for making miniature-heavy games, probably best known for Conan and Batman, those big games full of tons of miniatures. This has plastic towers.
That's good production overall, but just in a different way, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a game about building towers in a city, and that's kind of the theme. There's a lot of games that do that. This one does a few things differently and a few things the same. Let me show you. In this game, you're going to play with a board with a large city on it. The city is cut in half on one side for 2 players. There's going to be some random cards put up here that players are going to try to score points from. Each player is going to have their own little board here where you're going to keep track of the 4 colors, white, brown, gray, and black. Each has their own little vehicle here. And players are going to be taking turns. Each player is going to start with a building block of each color. Some building blocks are going to be placed on the board, and then one player goes first, and you just keep taking turns. Now, on a player's turn, one of the things that they can do is they can take one of these cards. There's going to be 3 face-up cards here that players can pick from. If you pick this card, for example, that would give me 2 brown blocks and 2 black blocks. This, 2 blocks of any color of my choice. This, I would move my brown truck forward 2 on the track and then take something of any color of my choice. Whichever one you take is then discarded and a new card comes out. So that is one turn you have. Another thing you can do on your turn is you can start a new building. When you start a new building, you're going to put a building on a board, and the rule is buildings of the same color can never go next to each other. So this is not allowed, but I could put a building here, for example. The cost of putting a building down is you need to put a block on every existing building next to it. So in this case, I would put a black block here on top of that. If I don't have a black block, I can't do it. Once I put the new building out, I can put my roof on either one of the buildings that I'm involved with, either the ones I put a building on or the new one I started, and then I will move my figure that many spaces on my track. So if someone else wanted to go here, they might put a gray one here. And again, they would have to put a black block on top, and then they could put their color roof on top of this. And this is going to matter a little bit for endgame scoring. And if someone wanted to put a building here, let's say they put a white building here, you would have to put a gray block here, a black one here, and then again, you put the roof on whichever building you want. So this will let them move 4 on the black, but they might want to move 2 on the gray track better. And once a building is completely finished and surrounded, then that building's obviously never going to be able to be taken again. There's no more connections to it, so that's going to finish that off. So any new building has to go next to existing buildings. As players put out buildings, they're going to keep checking up here, and these cards will give you a point token if you meet the requirements. So this is have presence. It doesn't mean you have to be on the top. So blue has presence in this building here. Have presence in 4 buildings. Have presence in 4 buildings that are next to water. And this is have presence in a building in each of the different districts on the board. When you get one of those tokens, and you can only get one for each one, you just take it and put it in the matching spot here so you can get a point token from all 3. As I said, you're going to be moving these tokens along as you build buildings and sometimes as you take cards. When all of your car vehicles pass a start line, you get an immediate bonus action. You can take another card or build another building. Each time all your buildings get past one of these. The game's going to end when someone runs out of their building toppers or if the deck runs out. At that point, you're going to count how many buildings in a board you are on the top of. So let's say I'm on top of 4 buildings. I then take this cone and put it here. And let's say I'm like this. Then you're going to look at each of your colors, and that's how many points you'll score. So 5, 5, 9, 5, then the cone 7. So that's 22 plus 9. That's 31 points plus 7 here. My score would be 38. Very easy to add. You just add all those together. And that's how you play. So we started off, Chris, talking about production values, and so I'm gonna say there's one small minor thing I don't love, and that is the card holder itself. A lot of games I played, the cards just keep getting knocked off. That little lip that holds the cards, they just constantly fell out of that. I mean, I guess you could just sit them in front of it because I don't want to give up the rest of that. I like that little thing.
It's a good storage tray. It holds all the building pieces in there fine. It holds the cards. Actually, it has like here's the discard pile area and all that stuff, which it's well done. You could just lay the cards flat.
Yeah. Other than that, wow. The fact that the point tokens are 3 different shapes and then fit in your board. Its functionality, its component, wow, there's a word for this, like components that enhance functionality.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like people might look at this and go, you guys consider this a nice production? Yes, because it's a thoughtful production. Like you said, I can look at the objectives and say, oh, I already have the octagon-shaped one. I don't have to work towards that objective again. Just that little fact that, hey, I have an octagon here, don't worry about that one over there. Like you said, it enhances functionability while still being very attractive and very nice looking.
And the roofs that get covered by the buildings instantly I don't sit there and go, who has that building again? It's really obvious, but they're also different shaped roofs, even though they're different colors. So in case the colors mix you up, and I don't even think they picked colors that are easy to mix up.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, so the whole thing, and I won't say it's a stunning production. It's just a very functional one.
And in my estimation, that's what I would rather have. I still consider this a very good production. Yeah, but not stunning necessarily. Now, speaking of stunning, how about the theme and the name?
Yeah, Tower Up is not a great name. And the theme about building towers. Now, I'm a little bit of a sucker. Any game where you build towers, I'm kind of there for. But this is not a game necessarily where you're trying to build the tallest tower at all, really. You want to be on top of towers if possible. But I've done that before, like on a single tower, like, ooh, if I build this one here, I'm blocking this single tower in by itself and no one else can get to it because you get a lot of points for those roofs covered at the end, where your roof's on top at the end of the game.
You get a lot there, but you get a lot also from the one way that you do want taller buildings in this is when you put your little roof on there, you get to move forward on the track for each building piece, right? So that's nice to be able to shoot ahead to like 13 points on a single colored track. That's very good scoring as well.
Sure, but the game's pretty smart in that. So I build a 3 brown building, and I move up 3 into brown. Chris then goes and he builds it at 4 and moves 4. My natural reaction is I'll take 5 and move up. But it might be better for me to move up on another track. Those bonus actions of moving everything equally is stronger than running something all the way up the track, especially since the track's points don't exponentially grow necessarily. So running up a track isn't a bad thing, but the game offers you those options, and that bonus action feels both really good and also doesn't slow the game down, since actions are so fast. Actions are build a building, grab some cards. And I'm like, yes, I got a bonus action. The other people are like, oh, here's another 5 minutes. No, just I get another card. I still don't like when you get bonus actions.
Sure.
But they don't slow the game down.
I think, that's a great decision. I think that that fighting the urge to just jump back on the same building, but also realizing, well, there's only a few places left to actually build around it. So if I wait for one more person to do it, then I'll be able to cap it off, and it should be taller then. The fact that the surrounding buildings become the price for placing into a spot. It has a very interesting, natural feeling economy. You know, just the price structure of the game flows in a way where there's always cheap spots available. You're just going to have to kind of build out in the ends. If you want to be in the mix of things, you're going to be able to influence a lot, but you also have to pay a lot. But you see all that coming. It does
you're setting other people up.
Yeah, it does really well. It does a lot with a little.
This is a really strong, functional game. There are minor things that I don't. The card draw sometimes. The cards there, like in a couple games I got in, there was 3 double wilds there, which in any other game is like woo. But I want a card with 4 bricks if possible.
Didn't matter what the colors, just more.
Yeah, because then I take fewer actions. So the card draw, because there's a bit of luck there, and then obviously there's definitely going to be some strong interaction between players because you're in each other's faces. But there's no area control. The game looks like an area control game. I mean, I guess there's a bit having your roofs on towers, but that's not necessarily the thing. It's a race to get those objectives because Getting 7 points for first place as opposed to getting 3 for last place in this game is a pretty big swing of points.
I agree.
There's a lot going on, but I don't find it to be. This is pretty close to a welcoming game. There's a few things that are slightly at an odd angle to other games that this looks like. It doesn't play like it looks, if that makes sense.
I'd agree there. Yeah, it's just right around that. Like, I could introduce this probably to most people. I'd probably pick something a little bit simpler, but this is not a bad game to then, hey, do you enjoy Ticket to Ride? Check this one out. It's different.
Yeah, that's a good thing. For me, this is like a little bit of a mix of Ticket to Ride and Manhattan, an old classic game, sort of. It's its own thing. It surprised me on how much I enjoyed it. I find it to be fast, engaging, interactive, easy to play, quick, snappy turns. So this is an 8 for me, Tower Up. I like it a lot.
This is also an 8 for me. I think that it looks like it's going to have more. You look at the colored districts drawn on the board, and you think, oh, this is going to be area control, like you said. And it's not. It is pleasantly surprising. The age on the box says 8+. I just realized that now. And I think it's that approachable.
Yeah.
I think that's spot on. It's very fun, too, ultimately. So, yeah, an 8 out of 10 for me.
There you go, folks. That's Tower Up. I'm Tom Vassell.
And I'm Chris Yee.
We are the Dice Tower Ups. That doesn't work.
You're the higher up Tower Up.
Ah. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vassell.